Okay, so I normally pay an editor, and I normally care about my appearance, and I normally care about the room presentation or anything. I'm not gonna. I'm just recording this raw. I'm recording it live. I'm doing it live. Yada yada. Oh man, where to begin? I bought Tears of the Kingdom last night. Paid full $70. Um, what the hell, Nintendo? Why? What is any of this? The game is just Breath of the Wild with a glue mechanic. The game is actually worse Breath of the Wild because the game doesn't let you use normal weapons without them breaking almost instantaneously because they want you to use the new fusion mechanic to strengthen them. Um so congrats Nintendo, you made worse Breath of the Wild. Um I don't know why the game took 6 years to make because it's literally it feels AI generated with how bare minimum the differences are. Like it feels like they threw all their Breath of the Wild assets into like a metaphorical, like a digital paint can, and then stuck it in like a digital paint mixer machine and just had it shake for a few hours, and then they dumped it out into a digital map, and that's the new map. That's pretty much how it feels, because the gist of the game is there's something under Hyrule Castle. Spoilers, I guess. I don't care enough at this point. It's Ganondorf, and he uproots all of Hyrule. So now there's some floating islands. Except there's nowhere near enough floating islands for the entire game to take place up there. So I'm already down on base Hyrule, and I'm running on the same map, fighting the same enemies, doing basically the same stuff, and I'm only 7 hours into the game. Um, what? So I'm gonna do a side tangent here. Does anyone remember Kingdom Hearts 3? I remember Kingdom Hearts 3. I liked Kingdom Hearts 3. Does everyone remember when Kingdom Hearts 3 released a story expansion? A story expansion that was pretty long depending on the difficulty you played it on. It could go as long as like 15, 20 hours. I remember that. I remember that. Let's see. What else do we got? Resident Evil Village. Yeah, that was a good game. That was a good full price game. Uh, that also released a story expansion that could take a while to beat and complete and collect everything in. Didn't 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 release that as a separate game, did they? Um. Ooh, remember The Last of Us? Remember Left Behind? Remember how that wasn't a separate game? Remember how oh, you know what? Remember Final Fantasy VII Remake? I have Intergrade. You know what that is? That's a game with an expansion. That's a game that. Oh, you know what? Remember Final Fantasy Stranger of Paradise? Game with 3 expansions? Content that dwarfs the original game now. But Square Enix was smart enough to know that people would be outraged, rightfully, if they tried to release it as a separate game. Only Nintendo would get away with this crap. Because Nintendo fans are so desperate for their franchises to get expanded on that they will shill it to no end. The only reason I'm not returning the game is because I'm not an a-hole who returns open product. I worked retail. I know how frustrating that is to process and deal with, and then like find a way to fit it on the discount shelf. I'm not doing that. I'm gonna keep the game. But like, I am very, very questionable about my future as a Nintendo fan. And I'm a big Nintendo fan, mind you. I'm a big Nintendo fan. Let me show you. Okay, I shilled a lot of Nintendo franchises. One of which, not the least of which being Xenoblade Chronicles. Okay? I shill the crap out of this franchise. Okay? By the way, guess what? Future Connected expansion. There's a Shulk and what's her name? I'm spacing because I'm so angry. Shulk and what's her name show up into expansion. Future Redeemed Xenoblade Chronicles 3 expansion. This ain't Monolith Soft's problem. It's Nintendo. It's Nintendo. Okay? We need to hold Nintendo to a higher standard, because guess what? I'm just covering the story, the assets. I'm not even covering the performance. I'm not even covering the mechanics. Only like 3 of which feel new. The others feel like vaguely tinkered bits from the Sheikah Slate. Which, where's the Sheikah Slate, by the way? You marketed this as the sequel. Where's the Sheikah Slate? Why don't we have the Sheikah Slate? And no, Nintendo shills, there's no valid excuse for why this game is the way that it is. I'm sorry, but 19 frames a second? I'm sorry, I want to battle more than one enemy at a time. Seriously, I got jumped by, I think it was 4 blue slimes, and my frame rate tanked to something I haven't seen since the PS2. No, I don't even think I've seen a frame rate tank that bad on the PS2. Because you got Kingdom Hearts 2, where in the final zone of the game, you're fighting like 100 Heartless at once, and the frame rate doesn't tank once. Like, only Nintendo. Only Nintendo gets away with this. And I don't know why people let it happen. I don't know why this game is getting 10s across the board. It's a 6 at best. And something tells me, even if I go out of my way to beat the game, I'm not going to change my mind. I don't know why Nintendo refuses to just let their games be good. I'm going to say something really controversial. Need to calm down. I'm going to say something really controversial. And I need Nintendo shills to bear with me for a second. Nintendo's games would be better off anywhere other than a Nintendo console. The only reason Nintendo consoles exist is so that they can isolate the market. I don't know why. I feel like it comes from a place of laziness, personally. I feel like they can make their weak, crappy hardware, and then they can make all their games exclusive to it. That way they can make all their games the exact same, on the exact same hardware, and then, like, put less effort in, because let's be real, it's not going to take a team. Let's look at my PS5 games again, shall we? We got, I would argue, this game right here, not even a PS5 game, PS4, Neo: The World Ends With You. This is a Switch port, by the way, because the graphic fidelity and the art style make it easy to animate. So they were able to downsize it and downgrade it enough to function on the Switch, but the PS4 is like the true blue experience. This is the one you want to play. This took much more effort than this. I guarantee you this, better game. Semi-open world, by the way. Semi-open. Not actually an open world. It goes, like, there's a day-night cycle that, like, automatically advances as you progress the story. And there's very limited environments you can explore. Still a better game. And I guarantee you much more effort was put into this than this. I'm sorry. I can't be like the Metacritic and the Game Informer and the IGN. I'm not trying to be emailed by Nintendo so I can fly out and try Breath of the Wild 3 in Tokyo, okay? I'm not trying to be that because I'm trying to be honest, okay? Bad product. I would go so far as to say even this is overhyped. Like, this is good, This is good, okay? The final boss is meh. This is good, okay? It's not terrible. But at the end of the day, I don't know why this exists. Okay? The first 20 minutes of the game are about as original as it feels. And then immediately after, you're thrown just back into this, but it feels like Jackson Pollock walked by and flicked a couple bits of paint here and there. And that's it. That's it. But because it's a Nintendo game on Nintendo's crappy hardware, we're gonna let it happen. We're gonna let it be, it's okay. 10 out of 10. This is gonna be a contender for Game of the Year with Final Fantasy friggin' 16 for some reason. Like, I don't get it. When did standards dip so low? When did standards dip so low? When did we, as the gaming community, stop caring? Okay? Frame rate dips, bugs, glitches galore. 6 years, by the way. This game took 6 years. Okay? 6 years. What are we doing here? What are we doing here? Let me see. Just because I'm feeling particularly like an a-hole today. Let's see. Another game. The only reason I don't criticize this one as hard, I didn't cite this one as another example. You know what? I'll throw it in there. Why not? It came free with my PS5. I haven't played it yet, but I know a lot of people said this felt like an expansion. This felt like an expansion. It's much shorter. There's less to do. There's less content. To my knowledge, you know what? From what I saw of what people said about this game, it performed well. It played well. Miles is a wholly original character. Different mannerisms, different swinging pattern, different fight style. Whole 9 yards. And, forget what I said about Neo The World Ends With You. I know there's nuances and differences in both games, but this feels like a more apt description. This one's better. By far. Also could have been an expansion. I personally feel like if you don't have enough content to at least slightly surpass the other game, don't do this. Like, make this should have been a spin-off. Not a spin-off. This should have been a add-on. This should have been an add-on. I don't know what we're doing here, Nintendo. I don't know what we're doing here. I don't know what we're doing here. What's the MO here, guys? What's the goal? Why do you insist on keeping your most adamant fans in a chokehold for their own franchises? You're talking to someone who loves Zelda, by the way. I think Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess is one of the best video games of all time. I currently emulate it because I don't own a Wii. And I'll be damned if I'm trying to stream or make YouTube content with the GameCube copy I've got. Because that, oof. Hooking that up to my PC is a big enough problem. Oh, yeah. What am I even saying? As if the big Twilight Princess poster in the background of all my streams and videos wasn't an indication. I big fan, bro. I have an original GameCube copy in my closet. I guarantee you, if I went and grabbed it, I could show you. But right now, oh man, but expect better, guys. The Nintendo fandom should not be the Disney fandom of the video game community. Okay? This company used to be a bastion of gaming. And the only reason it still is because of all the shills buying crap en masse. I'm sorry. I'm not gonna keep dancing, guys. This may very well be the last Nintendo game I buy. After this and Bayonetta 3, like we need to start acknowledging the elephant in the room here, guys. Nintendo just might be the problem. Nintendo just might be the problem. And I hate to break it to you, I'm going to go back to the expanding on that hot take. This entire video is a hot take. Who am I kidding? I'm going to go back to expanding upon that previously hot take about how Nintendo keeps all their hardware on garbage consoles. Nintendo would make infinitely more money if they simply ported their games to other systems. If this was on Steam, running at a crisp, clean 60 FPS, no one would be saying anything bad. If this was on PS5, running at a crisp, clean 60 FPS, no one would be saying anything bad. I would have significantly less to say. I would consider it... I consider this... I respect this. I respect it. I haven't played it yet. I respect it, because I've heard nothing but good things about the performance, the gameplay, the story, as short as it is, compared to the previous game. I respect it. Because they said, we're going to make a spin-off. We're going to expand on the last game, make a character grow a little bit, and then we'll throw them both into the sequel. That's not what's happening here. This is being marketed and sold as a sequel. The fact that it's 7 hours in, and I don't feel like I've left this... I can't. I'm not gonna dance to this tune. I'm not gonna dance to this tune. Because bad enough, it feels less. It plays less too. Every issue I've encountered mechanically, visually, audibly, digitally, whatever uli you want to throw on there, never encountered it here. Never. Granted, I didn't play this one on release day. I'll give it that much. So if they fix all of the technical problems with this game, I'll go back and have my editor actually edit this video. But something tells me they're not going to, because when it comes to stuff like this, Nintendo is worse. Is the worst at it. They're the worst at it. So, yeah. Stop hoarding your games on crap hardware, Nintendo. Actually let your games flourish. And, Nintendo shills, do better. Expect better. There's zero reason why this should be the way this is. Zero reason. Zero reason. So, anyways, that's really it. It's embarrassing, and I'm embarrassed to have once thought that Nintendo was one of the best gaming companies of all time, because clearly wrong. Yeah, anyways, embarrassing. See ya.